All right, we're going to hope to God that this is working, everybody. And by everybody, I mean the perhaps two people that read the stream announcement message that we were going live early. Did I even name this right on YouTube? I did. I did name it right on YouTube. What a day this is going to be. Okay, so we've had a number of people. Oh, good. We've had some off-stream follows. That's so incredibly kind of everybody. And now, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And now we wait and we see if this is broken at all. I don't have any drop frames. Wow, that's good. Hey, hello, Terrence. Welcome to today's stream. Terrence, please do let me know if anything's fucked because I'm streaming from our friend's house. Wolf Slays, thank you for the 5 months of Tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. Good morning to you as well, except it's afternoon for me because I am currently on the East Coast. So I'm not at my home setup. We are staying with our friends to film for Scry Babies, and they have lent me a computer to do the deck roasting stream. We got more boss per boss. Wait, what's happening? Is there like a double cam thing? Don't play with me like that, keyboard. Don't play with me like that. So I'm in EST, and so we had built our plans today around me telling them I'm working from noon to 4. And they went, great, we'll make plans for when you finish your work, which is from noon to 4. And I went, yes, when I am done working between the hours of noon and 4, we can go do things. And then last night I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not working noon to 4. I'm working 3 to 7. And so I made a last minute announcement to see if, so we're basically going to see if any of today's roasties get here, like got the earlier message, and if they get here in time for us to do today's stream earlier, and if they don't, well, we're just going to talk a lot about Magic and Riftbound. Welcome to the East Coast. It's shame the weather's fucking miserable right now. This is great, dog. I am generally far too warm of a person. I love when it's cold. The weather here has been phenomenal. The resolution is poor. Horrendous. Hold on. The bit rate is 6,000. The resolution on like me or the resolution on the stream itself? Because the bitrate resolution on the stream itself is matching what I get at home. Can we get a flex boss? That'll be $300, Wolf. Hi, boss. I got the message, but unfortunately I'm at work driving until noon 30 PST, but I'll be lurking while I'm at work. All right. Terrible shame. Excellent, though. I think that's actually fine, Leprechaun. We can have you go at the end. Stream itself, unless I'm crazy, capped at 430 P60. All right, well, that's a damn shame. We might be doing Fuzzhound today. Hello, Dale. Hello, Dog Sauce. We're on Ether. I recommend everybody swap Arcane Signet with Mesmeric Orb. You're doing the Lord's work, Dog Sauce. I'm still in Philly. Had a cheesesteak. Massive disappointment is Z and I have recently discovered we can't eat onions. So I had to order a Philly cheesesteak with no onions, which hurt me in my heart. It cut me fucking deep, but it was that or shit myself in the restaurant. So, you know, I made the decision that let me have a Philly cheesesteak, period, even if I was missing one of the most important ingredients. Hello, IMT Sin. We're Fuzzhound a little bit today. We're borrowing a setup from a friend, but it'll hopefully, let's go to Moxfield and let's check out some like example decks so we can, hold on. YouTube is giving me a warning that my bitrate is too high. So we might actually have like the inverse problem. We might have the resolution issue might be caused by something different. Like it's not actually a quality problem on this end. It's that I'm doing too much. Rate control is cock and ball torture, which is good. Let's see if I can apply a new bitrate midstream. Okay, it tried to let me do that. We will see if that works. Did you at least swap the onions for green peppers or something, you poor soul? No, I just went meat and cheese. Forgive me, boss, for I've sinned. I started playing Dead by Daylight again. Wolf! I told you to get on Summoner's Rift, dog. What are you doing? What are you doing? A friend convinced me to play MTG Arena, and playing MTG outside of my local group and being exposed to sweaty players, I now fully understand why green players deserve nothing. Good. Good. Fuck them. I was playing like Pioneer Ranked because I just wanted to play some rounds of Is It Phoenix, and anytime a motherfucker opened with Llanowar Elves turn 1, I knew I was in for it. I knew I was in for it. Your friend has to hold his mic. They don't stream. So they have like they have the stuff for it because they're also content creators, but they don't have to have like they have all the parts for it, and I am too lazy. I was too lazy to like put any of the stands together. I was like, "Ah, fuck it. I'll just hold it." What's up? That's way too much work. That's way too much fucking work. Don't. Thank you, Jummy Bug. And I am feeling better. And I think one thing I did want to talk about with the Freecon video is and I don't think I emphasized this enough while filming the video. I think it's really important to have bad days and vocalize that they're a bad day and vocalize what you disliked about it rather than just. Because I used to, and historically, I always fall into a pattern of being like, well, tomorrow will be better. I just got to get to tomorrow and shake this day off. Because when I was a youth, and I had, my hair was like down here, it was incredible. People would always tell me that I took too long to let go of bad experiences. Like I hung on to the negatives way too much. And that was true. But the way they tried to get me to be more positive was by telling me to let go of the bad, which never really worked for me. Anytime I tried to let go of the bad, it was really just like ignoring it, and the feelings never went anywhere. But the thing that does work is when stuff is going bad, even if you're just talking like out loud to yourself, talking about what is the thing that is bad. Do you think you have control over it? What parts do you have control over? What can you do to make that situation not repeat? What can you do to alleviate or heal the wound that has already been caused? And then it's like, yeah, you had a bad day and those happen, and you will have good days, and the bad days hopefully taught you something or reminded you of an important quality about yourself. Da 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 da. Meow Mix Cat Hawk. Thank you for the 9 months at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. Yeah, Jather, I'm not sure why either, because the bit rate on my end is, if anything, too high. And so I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure why we're fuzz sound today, but I think today we're just going to live with it, and you're just going to have to listen to my sweet, smooth voice. Voice of Madness, welcome back to the dog home for the 7th month in a row. Welcome back to the dog home. It's great to see you covering more than just Magic. Looking forward to more stuff about Riftbound. Does it play like old school Legends of Runeterra? Loved that game. I only played a bit of Legends of Runeterra. I don't think it plays. There are definitely similarities. You will certainly feel familiar vibes. But because it's doing the point control system rather than like beating each other to death, it does not play super similar, or the tempo of it doesn't play incredibly similarly, but the tempo of it is fucking phenomenal. The tempo of Riftbound is best. I think best, I'm going to be very careful with my word choice. I think best tempo of any card game I've ever played. In terms of what the timing is on like how you try to generate advantage, how you can respond to your opponent's generated advantage, how the 1v1 feels in comparison to the 4-player free-for-all, like the tempo of it is fucking immaculate. And so I'm not going to say favorite card game, period, because it's still incredibly new. The card pool is still incredibly small, and there's a lot of room for them to just totally fuck it up. But it's really good. It's really good. It is like, yeah, I think there's a lot of things that, for the obvious comparison, I think there's a lot of things that Magic can do that Riftbound can't. But I think there's a lot of things that Magic is doing poorly that Riftbound is doing really well. Oh, I forgot to put the chat widget on. Hold on. Yeah. Thank you, Jomi, for saying that. I need to log into Streamlabs to get the chat widget back. And then chat box. Click to copy. Beautiful. A girthy Poro, thank you for the 15 months at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. On break at work, just here to say hi and spread the word of Rocco Street Chef and autistic Magneto jail. I'm really glad I kept that ad lib in. I almost cut that. Hey boss, played in the release event and crashed out on Rift. Is the 4-player way better than 1v1? I do think the 4-player is much more satisfying in Riftbound than the 1v1. The 1v1 is still fun to me, but it still has the ultimate, like, I think there's more room for counterplay because you have more decision points with which battlefield you go to. But I do think, like, 1v1 card games, variance, well, card games in general, variance is always your lord and savior and executioner. So what I like the most about the 4-player, and I'm just going to pull up Riftbound in the background so we're not doing false advertising. What I like the most about the 4-player Riftbound tempo is everybody is always relevant in the game. Like if you are taking game actions, which you will always be able to do, you will be relevant and you will be in the hunt to either win the game or at least make an attempt to win the game. And that has been, I think, 8-0 or 9-0. That's not my record. I've only won, like, I think 1 or 2 games. But in terms of all 4 players at the table will have the ability to make an attempt at winning the game. It's not equally easy. So your build-up does matter. How you navigate the early game does matter. But it's like everybody has some path to try and effectuate a game win. It might be really difficult for the person furthest behind. You might have to, like, trick people. You might have to get a lucky top deck. But, like, there is always some avenue there for you to feel like you have a chance at winning the game. Lil Evic, or Lil Levick, thank you for gifting a sub to Jather. Welcome back to Dog Heaven, my friend. Is Riftbound a better multiplayer experience than Magic, in your opinion? I'm trying to decide how much room the internet has for nuance. Easy answer, yes. I love Commander. Easy answer, 100% yes. The more complicated answer is, I think the highs of Magic are still a fair bit higher. I think the lows of Riftbound are infinitely higher than the lows of Magic. Like the bad games of Riftbound as compared to the bad games of Magic are just, like, totally incomparable. And I'm not convinced that's going to be the case forever, because part of the reason that is the case is because the card pool is really deep in Magic. It's a really complicated game. And so there's a lot more space for your deck to just not come together. And maybe Riftbound will reach that point when they have much more complicated mechanics. But as the game currently is, you can have really good games. You can have tough games. It's super difficult to have a like I cannot conceive of an unsatisfying game of a 4-player game of Riftbound. Like the main difference is right now Riftbound cannot provide the same type of stack war experience. If you like if the thing you like in Magic is, oh, I put 20,000 ability activations, or I put like 10 minutes worth of triggers on the stack, Riftbound, the card pool is not yet complicated enough to provide that for you. But that was always the thing I liked the least about Magic. Like those were always the things that made me like disengage from the Magic games, is when we like came together to play the like silly mess around, and then it's just one person taking like a giga solitaire turn. And again, part of that constraint is just Riftbound is new. In Magic, that's happened because they've been designing and playing the game for like decades at this point, and Riftbound has like one set that's out and then a second set that's coming out, which my girlfriend and I did get to do a preview card for, so if you haven't looked at those videos, please do. But it's just so good. Yeah, and as Army Hitch is saying, it'll be really important to see how it handles how power creep happens, because it's one set right now, right? Imagine looking at just at the Avatar set and being like, that's all of Magic. Can I do something as ridiculous as copying and expropriate 20 times? No, not at all. They do have an extra turn spell. I don't think they've printed any like spell copiers yet, but you can do an extra turn. And our YouTube editor Triple Mango Thread is in chat, so everybody, if you like the long form videos, in particular the Avatar set review that came out yesterday, tell them you love them. And then, okay, I'm also going to hit the manual ad break on Twitch. And then the people we're looking for today is Christian, Arai Flames, Keiki Eater, and Leprechaun. Leprechaun sounded off, told me they're lurking at work. Thank you for that, Leprechaun. Everybody else, if your name is on that list, proof of life, please and thank you. Macroar's Twitch, thank you for the Prime sub, and Plasmatonium, thank you for the Prime sub as well. Welcome back to the dog home. Jace's cat, I've been traveling for PAX Unplugged. And then after that, we've been staying with our friends Lou and Ian to film for Scrybabies. And we will be heading home tomorrow, but we don't get home until 10 p.m. tomorrow. So if you're not in the Discord already to look at the stream announcements, there will not be a stream tomorrow. There will not be a stream Friday. I'm going to try to do a surprise XCOM stream Saturday, but it's only a surprise because we don't know when we're going to be free. So it will be at a surprise time in the evening. It will be later than my normal stream. I don't know by how much. They got Brand in that game yet? No, I don't. If Brand is coming out in Spirit Forged, I haven't seen, like, I got my preview card. I don't know what the other preview cards are, but I have not seen Brand yet. Dale, thank you for joining the dog home on YouTube. Boss, I've discovered an easy holiday treat. Peanut butter and powdered sugar rolled into balls and dipped in almond bark. It's way too delicious. That is diabetic as fuck, dog. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I don't think Lily is in either. That sounds tasty as hell, dude. What is the next free custom card stream? So point one, every custom card stream has a free entry method. So technically every custom card stream is both the free stream and the not free stream. The next custom card stream, it is probably happening like December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. It's probably happening. Oh, it can't happen December 6th because that's going to be the free roast stream. It might happen Friday the 5th because I'm going to be traveling to Florida next week and I get back Thursday. So next Monday, I fly to Florida. Next Thursday, I fly home from Florida. And it's been like a month since we've done a custom card stream. And so I might do one I might do one on the 6th or the 5th, notably, because the 6th is going to be the free deck roast stream for the month. Are you planning on doing more Riftbound content? Yeah, do you guys want to talk? Yesterday's free count video was much more therapeutic than it was analytic. You guys want to hear about analytics? Because this is the first time I've tried mixing Riftbound content in with the Commander roast content, because I do want to play a lot of Riftbound, and notably, Riftbound will work with me. That's a little different. That's a little, that's a little cute of them. Ungodly One, thank you for the 7 months at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. And Davy Jones, bro, thank you for the 10 stream streak. Alec, I'm not sure. Let me see if I can get a guest lined up, and then I'll follow that up. So I think the most interesting thing about the Riftbound analytics is the analytics on the preview card. One sec. Let me pull up these videos one at a time. Okay, so here we go. Here's big analytics page. While we wait for, again, Awry, Flames, Cakey Eater, Christian, Leprechaun, you're still good, but any of those 3 people, if you're here, we can get into your deck immediately. Oh no, Alec, man, I missed your streak message. Let me go back and dig that up. And thank you for furthering your stream streak. Thank you for the 25 stream streak. With the revised stream schedule, do you think I could go first on Sunday? It's my birthday, and I don't know if my family planned anything for it. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes, you can. Happy early birthday. I will do my best to remember to congratulate you on your birthday, that next trip around the sun, when we get into the stream, but for sure you can go first. Anyway, I'm a Jane. Thank you for the 6 months at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. I'm doing pretty good today. Okay, anywho, we go to the shorts tab. So the video is not actually doing that bad. The two Riftbound videos that I've done, which are Annie and then the Yone preview card, these are tracking at about 50 to 60% of what a MTG what the Magic videos typically do, which I am relatively happy with. I think for something that, 20 big ones, hell yeah. Absolutely good for an entire day's work. Hell yes. So they're tracking about 50 to 60% of what a Magic video typically does, which is very, very good for a game that does not have a player base that's 50% the player base of Magic. And for my audience, which is entirely Magic, like every comment on this video is like, oh yeah, I guess I'll listen to you talk about this. I'll give it a shot. You've convinced me. All right. Say your funny jokes, haha, man. And then people like Snake Fan Bob, who are watching just to support me, which shout out you, goat. But the most interesting thing, right? We're getting a lot of people who swiped away because it's a different card game. The average view duration actually like pretty good. Like if you looked at it and you were like, okay, all right, dumbass, I'll listen to you talk about the other card game. People still liked it a fair bit. Now we compare that to this video, which, hey, 20 big ones, we love it. Which is doing just like hot dog shit, hot garbage. Even if you say like, oh, this one's 20 seconds longer, the only, if you had made this shorter, it would have kept more. If we go comparably, like 60% of people were still watching the Annie video at just over a minute, and it's down to 44% for the Yone video. So that one was very interesting because I thought the Yone one was much better. I do think there was a little bit of like, ha ha ha, I tricked you. the magic guy said preview card, and the magic guy said preview card, and then he started talking about a different card game, and now I'm angry and I hate him and he's a bad person, and that's all fair and valid. So anyway, right, Leprechaun, could it be because it was longer? I think in part, but even if you even if you did a smash cut, like if you ended this video when the Annie video ended, it would still be like at 2/3 the retention, like 2/3 of the people that finished the Annie video would have finished the Yon video, which is interesting. I'm trying not to doom about it, but that is a like useful data point, and I'm not sure. Yeah. And so this video is actually, I was like, oh, this one will do better than the Annie one because it's going to get a preview card boost, and then I'm going to say my funny jokes. And this one is tracking to get past or do worse than the Annie video overall, even though it started way higher. It started much higher, and now it's just like it's tapering off pretty hard, which is a disappointment. Yeah, the preview short. Okay, so more mechanics got explained. There are people that watched it or like clicked into it having no idea who I was. Bacon, I did, but I thought I was doing it in a funny way. Like there's like pretty much every video I have to explain how something works, and so I don't put too much stock in like, or I guess when I hear the feedback, oh, well, you spent a lot of time explaining this thing. I'm like, yeah, but fucking Kyle Hill's entire channel is just him explaining things. I don't think explaining things is inherently a problem. I think me explaining things in an uninteresting manner is the problem. And I thought that I was doing it in an interesting manner. Yeah, and I have to explain. Like, the video would have been demonstrably worse, especially to explain why the preview card was worth a goddamn if I didn't explain anything. But I do also just frankly not believe that explaining things is a problem. I think explaining things poorly is the problem. Also, Ben Bajillionaire, scratch the Kelsey deck. If it is not too much trouble, could you send me an email with what felt off about it? Because I try to pride myself on high customer satisfaction, so I want to make sure that we get something that'll feel good for that. And thank you for coming through to tell me that the fixes did not work and we had to take it out and old yeller it. Okay, Dr. Ryan says, there's no shot I play Riftbound fully after doing a learn to play, but I'll always let your videos play all the way out to help the stats. I appreciate that. What do you dislike about it? Annie is just more interesting than Yon. How? Nani? That's cap. That's Yon is so fucking cool. No. Even if they didn't give me the preview card. Hold on. Did they even put my man up in the card gallery after they did. Okay. This is like some of the only base interaction in the game. This is like the dopest shit you can ever do. You care about oh, we gotta have a meeting about that. Annie's more interesting than Yon. Annie's just untap lands, dog. Annie is 1/10 of unstoppable plant. No, 1/10 of a Seedborn Muse. And that's the whole card. The evil child is more interesting to me than the edgy guy with a sword. I don't know any of you anymore. Oh, Annie as a character is more interesting to me. That's fair. Would a factor be that I have peripheral knowledge and know who Annie is, but out loud asked who for Yon? That's interesting. And that actually speaks to a thing my friend Cinderblock Sally was telling me when I was talking to him about, trying to do Riftbound on top of League stuff, is like, should I be leaning into the lore of the characters more? Because Magic, the characters basically come through entirely on the card. They might have some story appearances, but apart from the really big characters, They don't like have lore. Whereas League characters, every one of them tends to have a more fleshed out backstory, and people are more familiar with some of them, whether it's through League of Legends, whenever they played and whenever they gave it up. The character is more interesting character. Yone is Demon Sword Master. Annie is just angry kid. Annie is a middle schooler with matches. League lore is fucking incoherent. Yeah, but it rips. I thought the explanation was funny and not at all that different from how you explain magic mechanics, but the difference might be that when you explain magic mechanics, viewers are more familiar with them, even if it's a niche interaction, whereas Riftbound mechanics are all new. That is true. Magic mechanics, I'm typically giving maybe a sentence or half a sentence as like a primer on what I'm talking about, but I do make a lot of assumptions about what my audience understands. Whereas Riftbound, I do have to explain like the entirety of it. So maybe I was being a little bit too informal with it. Is there anything in Riftbound that plays like the Scargrounds deck in Legends, pinging your stuff for buffs/value? Glassbook, that sounds like the Enrage mechanic in Magic. They don't have pinging your stuff for buffs and value, but they do have a buff mechanic, which is a little like attachment you can put on the card. Let me pull this guy up. Nani fucking Deska, man. There we go. So look at this little idiot. A buff is just like a passive enchantment that will give you one more might, and then this unit lets you use up a buff to get a temporary boost. There are other spells that say when you cast a spell, you can spend a buff and you can get like an extra effect if you spend the buff. Now you don't do it via pinging, and I don't think I've seen many creatures, if any, that have effects that trigger when they take damage. Hold on. Ref? Are there any Riftbound cards that care about taking damage yet? Like, if your creature gets pinged, you get a thing?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah, we don't have those yet. Thank you, baby. I think I just didn't vibe with the aesthetic. League hasn't been my thing in 15 years. That's real. Yeah, that's real. Now that we have seen Z's and your preview card, I can confirm yours was in fact better. What's up? What's up with it though? What the mic's up? What's up with it though? What's up with it though? What's up with it though? How popular is Riftbound? Because your mentions of it are the only mentions of that game I've ever come across, or maybe it is a US phenomenon only. So I would say there's a lot more buzz than there is actual popularity, because right now it's still like it's fresh out. We have one set. We have no idea. That's too bad. What's your commentary?
My commentary is that it is very popular for those who have gotten their hands on the card game.
Well, that's what
we're only facing an issue with people getting cards, and everyone who has, like, the lines are always out the door at every event that they're at, every single time. So, like, it is popular, it's just not en masse.
That's what I mean by buzz versus popularity. Like, people don't have their hands on it yet.
Yeah.
And so yes, it is a baby. They have one set out right now. The next set is, I think, releasing in like early next year. I would say the biggest thing it has, not the biggest thing, one of the things it has driving the popularity of it is if you were a creator for TFT, for League of Legends, or for Magic, you were probably paying attention to the game dropping, and everybody I've talked to who's played it is like, oh, this shit is crazy. Oh, this shit is crazy good. Like I'm obviously not going to name any names, but the people I've spoken to that are making like predictions about how the game's going to end up is like, yeah, with how it's currently looking, easily number 2 to Magic's number 1. And then I'm sure the Pokemon fans are going to get super fucking mad, but like obviously the Final Fantasy card game dead, but they were like Lorcana and the One Piece game stand no fucking chance. Hearthstone, no fucking chance. Yu-Gi-Oh, no fucking chance. And it's obviously not going to do all of those. It's not going to do all of those. It's not going to beat all of them out of the gate. But like right now it's really, really good. It's really, really good, and it looks like they care about the right stuff. Right now it's only played digitally. I personally believe, I have nothing to support this. I personally believe they are creating a separate online client for it, because they used to have an online client for Legends of Runeterra, and then they killed Legends of Runeterra, and so I think they will be dropping an online client for this game. But I don't even have like, oh yeah, a source I can't reveal said that. That's just me being like, yeah, of course they're gonna fucking do that. And then like the other thing that's gonna hold it back is right now it's very inaccessible. It's very difficult to get your hands on the cards because everybody wants them, because the word of mouth on it is so good. Like because all of the reports from the front are like, oh, war actually fucking bangs. Yeah, come to the trenches, bro. You can't get boots. Impossible to get boots. Yeah, Riftbound having an objective that doesn't just kill your opponents is a genuinely good niche. It's so sick. It immediately fixes all the problems you've ever had with like, oh man, we sat down to play this 4-player game and then one of us just like didn't do anything all game, or like one person ran away with the game early. That right now does not exist as a problem. There's still a lot of like tense situations and times where it's like, fuck, I misplayed that. I should have won that, or like there's good politicking too, but it just, yeah, the way the game currently is, non-games just don't exist. But that's in part because it's one set. We're looking at the game through the lens of exclusively a limited environment. Devin Valdan, thank you for the 4 months in a row at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. I have not seen the distraction. I don't watch other people's content, quite frankly. If I'm watching other people's content, it's to try to learn lessons on like presentation. Like the only content I've watched recently is like ContraPoints videos, and that's just to kind of pick up the vibe on how to do like sarcastic and funny explainy videos. I would be very down to try someone's deck, but the game would really have to rip to get me in. I have negative excitement for League-related things. That's pretty fair. Personally, I firmly believe the game rips. I don't think everybody will think it rips. Like, again, if you are... I would say the main attraction of Riftbound right now is the intense lack of, like, fiddly solitaire. There are some turns that take a while because it's new and there's a lot of stuff that is similar to mechanics in Magic, but they don't all work the exact same way. So there's a lot of times where we'll like plan out a turn and think we understand how that turn's gonna go, and then we like trip over our own dick some way down the line. But once you're comfortable with the Riftbound specific rules, it fucking rips. Can't wait for them to print an absolutely busted Aurelion Soul that ruins the game. That's what happens to Runeterra, if I recall correctly. I'm going to hope they learn some lessons. And then not having... If anybody doesn't know this about Riftbound, you can get mana screwed, but barely. Instead of lands, they have runes, and they do separate... They separate the... Like, your resource deck and your spell deck are different. Thank you fucking God. Uh, and this little purple symbol right here, you have to sacrifice your runes to cast certain spells. And so it is resource deck and spell deck are different, but you don't just always have more resources all the time. It doesn't like just build up higher and higher and you ramp into infinity and then you spend 8 million energy and win the game. You can have a maximum of 12 runes on the field, and the power number is how many runes you have to sacrifice to cast the spell. And so the tempo of the game is also very, very interesting because the better spells require you to sacrifice more and more runes. I think that is probably hands down my favorite part of the game. I can't just keep ramping. I'm out. Yeah, if you like, you can just like, there is a ramp deck like body. Let me pull up what's this fucking, I think it's like Catalyst. No. What is this shit all right, whatever. Bruh. So there are bigger cards that do this, but channeling a rune means you flip the rune to play. And so that is ramping. And you'll notice this doesn't have a power requirement. So this is like a spell that you can cast no matter what colors of rune you have out. So you can't get mana screwed on this. Like, it's very, very tough to get like, it's near impossible to get mana screwed out of playing totally. So there are spells that ramp you, and you can spend the early game ramping, but you can only have 12 runes in your deck at a time. There is a benefit for being fully ramped. The benefit for being fully ramped is if you go to, hold on. Like, this is a bigger ramp spell. If you go to channel, if you would, I believe the rule is stated thusly. If you would channel a rune, but you have no more runes to channel, you draw a card instead. So if you want to play a ramp deck, bitch, Lua is behind me right now. They're there. Heckling. So if you do want to play a big ramp deck, you do get a benefit. You do get a benefit for ramping out super hard, because then you just get extra card draw from the rest of the game, but you can't get access to more than, or I think like things that produce energy exist. So, but you can't have more than 12 runes on the table at one time, which limits how big your biggest turn can be. But if you try to play by just like, I'm never going to sacrifice any runes, I'm just going to get like more, there is an eventual benefit you get, but you give up a shitload of tempo. Does it feel sweaty in the way that comp Magic feels, or is it sweaty in the I really want to win a game of Scrabble type of way? I would say the 1v1 right now is sweaty in the comp Magic way, because the people that are like playing a lot of the 1v1 are people who are like competitive TFT players, who are competitive Magic players, competitive Pokemon players, competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it's people who are grinders in different games. And then they're coming in here and they're like, oh, we're going to figure everything out, because the game is still so limited on how many people have product that there's not really like a casual 1v1 scene. The 4-player format is like, I would say, just as sweaty as your typical Commander game is, but it's way easier for everybody to, like, there's just less feels bad. Lua will disagree with this because I robbed them last night, but Lua was relevant in that game. Ian was relevant. Z was relevant. Like, we were all relevant, and I was in last until I top decked a thing to let me try to win. Have you played Munchkin? The comparison, I have not played Munchkin. The comparison between the ending between 4-player Riftbound and Munchkin is really interesting. One player gets to the end and everybody spends to stop. Players slowly catch up and repeat. That's pretty similar. The winner is either someone who went massive or everyone else ran out of resources. I would say that's pretty similar, because what happens in Riftbound is, I'm pretty sure that's not a rule. If you're at 12 runes, you're just at 12 runes. You don't draw. Let's check. because I've gotten the rules wrong like 18 fucking times. And one of the grinders told me that was a rule at a time in which I was already getting my ass beat, and it did not enable them to beat me, and so I had no reason to mistrust them. I wonder if I can just control F channel, see if there's a rule about this. These are channeled rather than play. Da 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 da. They're not played or channeled. Channel phase. Alright, if there are fewer than 2 runes in the rune deck, they channel as many as possible. Da 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 da. See rule 4:17. Channel. Da da da. Channel an extra rune. Channel an extra rune. Damn, that motherfucker did lie to me. Yeah, you don't draw. Thank you, Kaiser. That motherfucker is a bitch liar, even though they were beating the hell out of me regardless. Mauled, your arms are unsleeved. Please stop thirst baiting us. That's why we're at 360p, Lulu. I'm keeping it precious. Reminder, isn't the comprehensive rules for MTG around 300 pages long compared to this? I don't know. Probably. I would guess they're similar. Also, manual ad break time. Twitch, you're getting ads laser beamed into your fucking head. $354 IIRC. Let me see. 354. Oh, 354 pages. Yeah. MTG is currently at 307 pages. Is today a Commander or Riftbound stream? It is a Commander deck review stream, but the roasties are not here today because we started early, but I updated it last night, and so it was always going to be like 50-50 if any of them heard in time. I'm leaving work a bit early. We can do my roast in 15 to 20 minutes if no one else shows up before then, but up to you. Thank you so much, Leprechaun. I do think we will probably start with you. Time, I am streaming at the same quality. I am like the quality you guys are getting is lower. I cannot figure out why, because the bit rate on my end is the same that it has been. Like it has the exact same settings that guys, it turns out that there's a little thing that you often need to check before you go live on stream, and that is the video settings in your own OBS. And so we are going to close the stream for a minute while I correct a little something, and then we'll be right back. And then I will call you all liars for acting like there was ever a resolution issue. So I'll see you all in a moment. Okay. I think we're back now. Oh, I have to turn YouTube live. Okay. YouTube's live. Are we good now? All right. All right, we're yeah. No fuss now. Um there was an option on in my OBS that I typically don't have on in my home OBS where it was like the output resolution was different from the base canvas resolution. Mr. Hound, what's the best Subway sandwich available on the market today? Do you mean the best Subway style sandwich or the best sandwich available from the franchise Subway? Card Lounge, thank you for the three stream streak. And Akon, thank you for the 4 months at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. So Kaiser Glider, sure, I believe you. I certainly believe that you are going today, and so we can start with you. Chesabel, thank you for the 4 months at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. So here is what we're going to do. I'm going to go use the bathroom. Yeah, Subway is ass, which is why I'm asking. The very best sandwich available from the popular franchise Subway. So what you're going to do, you're going to go in, you're going to ask for the hot and crispy. They're going to look at you like you're making something up. You got to commit. Ask for the hot and crispy. They're going to put some chicken on the bread, and you go, no. First, can you just hand me some of the wrapping paper? They'll oblige because the customer's always right. They hand you the wrapping paper. You shove that in your mouth. You chew on it. You realize that is what they attempted to charge you $15 to eat, and then you go to a good fucking restaurant. So we're going to go use the bathroom, and then we're going to get into Kaiser Glider's deck. All right, How would one's commander get chosen for this? So Hash Brown, today we're going to be going through roasts that were pre-bought through Ko-Fi at the beginning of every month. We do a free deck roasting stream also at the beginning of every month. That one's coming up in like a week and a half. Terrence, I swear to God, I was gonna get right into the roasting, but brother's trying to injure himself right now. If your back hurts, is it wise to take drugs or to just thug it out? Dog, it depends. Because there's some stuff where if your back is hurting, like your body can get tight, your body can give you pain signals, and sometimes it is a pain signal from like an acute injury and you need to rest it or ice it or heat it. Sometimes your body's in pain because you don't use it enough. Like I have back issues, I have neck issues, you know, all my joints hurt, and they generally hurt less when I am doing more stuff, but when I am practicing load management, which is, a lot of people use it in a fancy dickhead way, literally just means don't push yourself to the point of breaking down. As Drum's saying, pain is a signal that something is wrong, but that doesn't mean that the fix is always exactly the same. Hello, there's a dog here. It's very nice. And so I don't know what's causing your pain, dog. I don't know what set the pain off. I don't know what's going to make it better. I don't know what's going to make it worse. I would typically advise trying some if you dropped a fridge on, it's from carrying my 115-pound senior dog upstairs, brother. So in that situation, I would probably take some Advil, but then I would probably spend some time stretching and trying to figure out what types of movements you can do to mobilize your back that don't hurt. If you're doing stuff that's going to mobilize your back and you're like, oof, ouch, that hurts every single time I do it, don't do that shit, brother. But if you can find something where it's like, ooh, it feels a little sore here, but it's fine to move. It's either neutral to move or positive to move. Those types of overexertions can typically be helped a lot by extremely, extremely light load or zero load bearing movements to help the joints articulate. And like, because part of pain is your brain being convinced that the situation is fucked up. Right? Pain is coming from your nerves, and your nervous system has a ton of jobs, and one of those jobs is to tell your brain when things are fucked up. And so if your brain is hearing like, oh, everything's really fucked up, you're going to feel a ton of pain. And so if you can find ways to get yourself to move around in ways that either release pressure on the nerves or just don't re-aggravate them, then your brain will slowly begin to like turn the volume down on the alarms. You can slowly convince yourself like, oh, okay, maybe the house is not on fire. Maybe the house is not on fire. Maybe the house was on fire and the fire has burnt out. I think it's just an overstressed thing since I've been doing it for 2 weeks. LOL, you are so lucky my Vine boom is not set up here. You've been carrying your 115-pound dog you've been carrying a wiggling sack of rice up your stairs every day for 2 weeks, and now you're like, oh, my back hurts. Would you also like to ask me for medical advice about the toe that you hammered a nail through? What's going on? How you doing? How's project I stuck my hand in a wood chipper, Terrence? Please, update the people. We need to know. We need to be aware. Good morning, Vegeta band. I swear to shit, man. I swear to shit. We can't be doing this. We can't be doing all this. Creamy Casanova, thank you for the 4 months at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. Maul, do you still do FMK and Smasher passes? Those stopped after the subathon. Hold on. The random Smasher passes are totally a thing. They've been a thing forever, and quite frankly, you sound crazy for even intimating that they ever stopped being a thing. Most people's backs aren't meant for anything that strenuous, especially for that long of a time frame. I don't like to use words like mean when it comes to how our bodies operate, but most people's backs aren't ready for anything that strenuous. Like, you can train your body to be capable of handling quite a lot. You can also train your body to perform at an incredibly high level before it all falls apart like 3 to 5 years later. You can just look at any gymnast for evidence of that. But yeah, you got to support your back. In all seriousness, how was the event? I would say mixed bag. The parts of it we got to attend. Hello, Jingataxis. Hello. Who's a sweet kitten? The parts of it we got to attend were extremely, extremely positive, but we just missed so much of it because of poor planning. Because when we were booking, I think it was a difference of like more than $1,000 and less than $1,500. So it was like $1,000 to $1,500 to get flights that would have gotten us there at like a convenient time on Thursday night, and to have booked the place we were staying at for the extra night. And so we made the decision, oh, let's take a red eye on Thursday. And so we were going to get on the plane at 5, get off the plane at 6 a.m. the next day on Friday morning. And, we thought, we'll tough it out. We'll sleep a few hours on the plane. The sun will come up. We'll be at a convention. We'll be tired, but we will be glowing. It will be fine. I was wrong as shit. And so we spent most of the weekend just in a fucking heap, and we missed, I think, a lot of every day of the con because we were trying to recover from my brutal error in how we booked things. And so that is a lesson learned, and it is never going to repeat. But that definitely took the positive edge off of the con, because all the con we got to experience, great, excellent, no notes, beautiful experience. Got to see so many of our friends who we care deeply about. And then we also missed like half the con or more because we were just like, I can't stay awake. Oh. Are you happy they're redoing the Monster Hunter SLD? I'm happy in general that they're willing to put a statement out there that they fucked up. I didn't really have any opinions on the Monster Hunter SLD because I don't pay a lot of attention to like the value included in a secret lair drop. And I heard that part of the rumblings with it was like, oh, they're charging all this money for like the most normal cards in existence. So I'm glad that there was pushback on that, and I'm glad that they listened to pushback. I can't... Let me see if Lua has MS Paint on this computer. They do. Don't snort it. I'm doing business over here. Anyway, so we'll do this line. We'll do this line. This will be time. This will be Q for quality. The cat is named Jingataxis, yes. Morahan, thank you for the Prime sub for the 9th month in a row. I feel like the way Hasbro is treating the consumers of Magic the Gathering is continually operating on a trend line that looks like this. Like they just down. And then whenever people do push back, and when we get pushback, Wizards will be like, guys, you know what? That's on us. We just feel so bad that we charged you $500 for $2.78 worth of cardboard, and we're gonna make this right. I promise. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to the lab, and we're gonna fight to get you an extra $3.50 worth of cardboard. Okay? And that's what we're gonna give you for $500, and then we're gonna be good. Okay? And so they get to do the thing that like shitty boyfriends get to do, where they just act worse and worse and worse, and then they get called out, and so they go like, "Oh my God, we're so sorry. Oh my God, we're so sorry. What if we made it better?" And then every time they drop something, they just go back to like worse and worse and worse and worse, and then it takes longer because we all feel good. Hello, Ian. Here's comedian to report live on the secret lair situation.
Yeah, I heard something about shitty boyfriends, and I heard my calling card. Oh no, is that a brand I'm giving myself? Shit. Wizards has an abusive relationship with their fans. Kiss, kiss. You guys are doing great. Pat, pat. By my secret lairs. Bye.
Yeah, like, and so this is how it persistently goes, where they keep offering things that are like worse and worse value for money, are harder and harder to get, are more and more like antagonistic towards the average consumer. And then when a blow up happens, they get to like press the release valve, and they get to go like, "Look at us, we're doing better, we're so sorry." And then the big old boot of Hasbro, and I'm gonna try to draw a boot right now. Hasbro's big fucking boot comes down and says, "Hey man, we actually need $300 million more dollars, because Q3 is looking bad for every single business that's not you." And then it just keeps happening again. Filthy Soul type players asking, do you think a 3-card infinite is okay in bracket 2 if it needs another payoff? That is almost always a question for the table. My stance on it is mechanically it's fine. I'm never going to accuse and this is I hate them in bracket 2. Let's start there. I hate that shit in bracket 2. If you do it to me, I am never going to accuse you of bringing an overpowered deck. I'm never going to be like, "Oh my God, that's way too fucking good for bracket 2. What are you doing, you maniac?" But even if I'm ever playing in bracket 2, which is getting more and more rare, it also costs like 15 mana. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter to me. Anyway, if you say like, if we're doing a bracket 2 game, I will typically ask, can we avoid infinites? I don't care what the justification is. I personally know that I dislike the play pattern that they present, particularly in bracket 2. And that's not on a power level thing. That's not on a like, this is mechanically too good thing. But for the type of vibes that I am going to bracket 2 to play for, I don't want to have to respect a fiddle pile. I just don't. And that's personal preference. And so if I sat down at a table and I was like, "Let's play some bracket 2, gang," and I was like, "Can we please not do infinites?" And somebody was like, "I want to do my infinite deck," and the other two people were like, "I also want to do infinites," I would just excuse myself. I'm not going to be like, "No, you guys are dickheads. Why don't you, bend to my determination of what's funny or interesting or not." So okay is just always going to be person to person. Yeah, that makes sense. It's one of those times where Gravecrawler goes infinite with a shampoo bottle and some gum. Yep. And that actually right there is why I don't play Niv Mizzet anymore. This is a deck that I permanently took apart because I love Niv Mizzet, but I didn't want to do like fringe CEDH curiosity combo. And I wanted to do a low power Niv Mizzet deck because I loved him so much. And anything I did to depower the deck or make it more reasonable, it always came back down to like, well, if I play Niv Mizzet and you let me untap, I am going to non-deterministically kill you.
We're off.
You leaving?
Yes, we're having cunty date.
Okay, baby.
Okay.
I love you.
Wallet.
Shit.
Shit.
I think it's up in the room.
Okay.
I think it's on the bedside table.
I'll go look at it. I love you.
I love you. So if your table's okay with that, then like hell yeah, more power to you. But these are the types of play patterns that I just despise in bracket 2. And so I don't play decks that can do it. Like God, I was playing my VV Stompy deck the other day, and somebody was like, "Ah, check this guy out. Just wait till they resolve that curiosity." And I was like, "I can't. It's not in the deck. There's not a single curiosity. There's not a single like draw engine effect in their deck." And they were like, "That's just bad deck building." And I was like, "Yes, it is, because I like playing shitty Magic. I like playing shittier noodle Magic." It's not Voltron either. I think I'm going to have to do the same with Satoru Umezawa. I just can't make it good without killing my friends turn 5. Yep. Same issue there. That one, the deck never got made in paper. That one died in the theory crafting stage because I moved to that one. I moved to that one right after I took apart the Niv deck. And I was like, maybe this one will be better. And I looked at the things that I could do with the commander that I would have qualified as fun. And then I thought about, oh, how's that actually going to play out at the table? And I was like, this is probably going to be dog shit. It's probably going to fucking suck if I do that. Okay, baby.
Mwah.
To that end, do you think we'll see another game type supplant commander as the most popular format? I don't think another format will. I think commander's really good at what it does. I think the best, or the thing that has the biggest fighting chance, is the entire game Riftbound, but they are a long ways out from challenging that. But so far, every Magic player I've spoken to who has played Riftbound is like, I kind of want to do this game. I kind of want to do, but it's having like fresh game, only one set, power. They could just like totally fuck the power creep stuff. They could like totally fuck up some mechanic down the line. It's still really difficult to get product because it's brand new. There's a million things that could go wrong, but the playing of the game, in fucking incredible. Okay. Kaiser, we are going to go with Leprechaun first because they've been here for like an hour and a half at this point, and then we're going to get into you. Heroic, thank you very much for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse. VV Dragons, it's not... See, the thing about VV Dragons is I think that goes too far the other way. Like, I think there's a point at which you're just not... I think the best gimmick deck in the world is Bracket 3. I think the best gimmick decks you can make play good Magic at Bracket 3. I think if you build a, like, hee-hee-hoo-hoo deck, and it is Bracket 1 or Bracket 2, I begin to doubt that it's a deck, and I begin to believe more that it's a PowerPoint presentation. I think it's a funny little idea, and my deck is VV Stompy, but it is just not based around a creature type. Oh, thank you, sir. Ignore the Google Forms primer and use the Moxfield one. You got it. Yeah, this is great. Now nobody can see my hairline, you fuck ass. I'm going to get some Tylenol, and then we're going to get into it. Poisoned Reasoning, thank you for the 15 stream streak, my friend. Sultai player. Here's the difference, in at least in terms of how I approach deck building. It is a funnier description to say little mage commands a bunch of giant dragons. My deck plays funnier. I think that is always my argument. I'm actually kind of against building decks that are designed to sound funny when you describe them, and I am much more interested in building decks that present funny play patterns. And so, like, Sphinx Ambassador, like the playing of Sphinx Ambassador and the situations that happen in the game because you have played Sphinx Ambassador are infinitely funnier than any dragon you can cast with VV. The stuff that happens because I have handed somebody a Buster Sword, which is not always VV, but the stuff that happens when I hand somebody a Buster Sword, infinitely funnier. The card C Double, which in any other deck is a like ridiculously overcosted spell for the types of ways you get to use it. This is like won me games. This is threatened to steal multiple games. Zinnia make dragons pregnant deck. That's another like funny sentence. What happens when you actually play it? You probably ramp and then you have a token deck. Right, Master of Predicaments. One of the funniest fucking cards ever made. And so I really... There is a... It's going to sound like shade, and I promise it's not, because this is not a phenomenon. This is not a phenomenon exclusive to YouTubers. There is a brand of deck that is designed to be advertised and not played. And I despise those decks. Like there is an entire genre of deck that is only meant to exist as a Moxfield list to then be talked about rather than to be like actually put on a table and navigated through a game. And holy fuck, those decks exhaust me spiritually. I am exhausted by a deck where it's like, what do you do by turn 5? Fucking nothing, but I have this zinger. But I have a zinger associated with it. The Gifts Intuition pile you got to resolve on Olivia's show was hilarious, and the pod's reaction to the 3 massive creatures was inspiring. See, that's what I play for. Those are the moments I play where I go like, yeah, hey, good card, right? Sick fucking card. A VV player plays this card. You're like, oh my god, they're going for the game win. And my favorite part about that moment was the 3 massive creatures were 3 of the 4 best cards I could choose. It was not, I'm going to pick bad shit for content. Oh, I still haven't set up the chat messages. Hold on, let me set up that widget. It was not, I'm going to pick bad cards for content. It was, I have built my deck poorly in some ways for content, but I still am relevant in this game. Let's see if this works. I'm still relevant in this game. I'm still taking relevant game actions. And now this hilariously funny thing has happened because of that. We shitting on roasties now? No, part of the roasting process is me trying to guide you from deck that is only from like deck that was built to be deck teched to deck that was built to be played in a hilarious way. That's what I want for everybody. I want everybody who plays this game. Oh yeah, it is time to do that. Will Avatar full review stream be uploaded to YouTube? I'm gonna try to. Yeah, we couldn't stream it on YouTube because Elk got front page status. I have to take Tylenol. That's what I forgot. Pain meds. What? Viper, I'm a man of many mysteries, and we're still missing 2 people, which is part of it. Like, I started early because I was hoping that we would get the whole crew in here. Alright. Let's get to it. First, and definitely least, we have Leprechaun Hatred. This is a spooky deck. Goal is to have spooky. Currently, the deck plays some 1/1s. People are too afraid to attack since it usually blows up in their face. But if I attack, I deal 5 damage. Flipping Elish Norn is theoretically the win con. God, I am sad I don't have the Vine Boom. But it takes too long, and once it's flipped, everything gets killed. I die, they get blocked, or I hit somebody for 20-ish damage, which is very underwhelming in my pods. I would like the deck to be better, perhaps by using the Proliferate to activate Elish Norn and board wipe the turn after flipping to deal more damage, but it still feels kind of slow. I am willing to purely focus on the front side and do a go-wide token buffing strategy, giving the opponents the option of blocking and taking 2 or letting the damage go through. This is my first built deck and had trouble with that. My favorite part of the deck is people being afraid of the front side and asking if they pay the 1, so that would be cool if it could be the focus. Okay, so we have the worst Elish Norn ever printed. That is not the strongest start I have ever seen. That's the current paper Oh, sorry, I mixed up what you said. Okay. I would like it to be the spooky and something I could bring to my LGS Commander night. I want to play Elish Norn, get tokens, buff them. The dream situation is somebody attacks me with many creatures and they practically kill themselves, or I cast one of the your life total can't change cards to let all the damage go through for the same result. Some issues I've encountered while gold fishing. I want big mana for X spells, but my 2 mana ramp often comes in tapped and feels bad to play later, and the deck seems like an actual murder removal. Okay. So here's the first thing we gotta do. We gotta give up on getting to her booty. I know that's gonna be hard for you. I'll say a little prayer for you. You have to give up on this butt, all right? She's not giving it to you. The issue we're going to have is the backside of your commander. Your commander's not cheap, by the way. All right, fuck ass, capital 1. Your commander is not cheap to begin with, unless you have Soul Ring. And then after you make it, you need to give up other creatures. You need to pay more mana. And then it's going to take multiple turns to pay off with some 2/2s, well, some 3/3s with double strike. That is pretty flagrantly okay, but it's not that overwhelming. And if you wanted to do a white deck that was just board wiping people, we could do that anyway. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I think you've probably been betrayed by a content creator at some point. Maybe it was me. Because this is the type of card where it has all the stuff on it to make you think, oh, I could totally build a deck around that. Oh, I could totally, make that my main strategy. And most of your main strategy is then, I'm going to spend 5 mana to do what every other deck in the world can do for 4 mana, and then I'm going to get eaten by a fucking dinosaur. Because notably, the front side also, this only really matters for other token players. Oh, I'm going to lose 2 life when I hit you with Gishath? All right. Go ahead. Oh, no. I'll pay 1 mana. So it does act as a little bit of insurance to make sure that no other go wide decks are fucking with you. But if you want to threaten people with like the 1 damage, this is what I would do. I would abandon totally flipping her over. Because the thing is, if we do this, if we build a deck that is meant to do something like totally unrelated, it's not going to be totally unrelated, but just hold in your mind the idea, I could build a mono white deck that did something totally unrelated, and Elish Norn is just there to be like, don't fucking try it. I can't. Have you ever seen that clip of Chael Sonnen going, I can't let you get close? That's Elish Norn. That's all we need from her. That is it. And then her, like, flipping her over, that is like, end of the day, nothing else to do. And our queen does deserve better than that. But for this deck, this can just be like, ah, man, it's the late game. I have no other relevant actions to take. Sure, I will turn some 1/1s into the backside of Elish Norn and get more creatures out of it. So let's turn on the tags and see what you are currently trying to do. Oh, brother. Oh, you don't have money like this. Nobody told you, sir. These are Selesnian cards. No. Okay, these are not cards you buy for magic beans. These are cards you buy for cold hard mana. I know it's got 2 white pips. That's 2 white pips and 10 green mana in the X, all right? I know you can't see that. You'll learn. Same goes for fucking Crescendo Finale of Glory. I'm rich at heart. That's not true. Are you, dog? You're running a 7 mana board wipe. Are you rich at heart? I can't help but notice a 4 mana sorcery in here. Karoo! Yeah! All right, you're my fucking hero. You're my fucking hero. I'm rich in heart, I say, as I tap 4 mana to pay 2 into March of the Canonized. So there is a way to do something like this, but our ramp needs to be different. This is another thing where Elish Norn is tricking your ass because you're building around her right now, so you have a ton of 2 mana ramp. The curve of your deck actually really responsible. I think this is fake because the X spells are counting as much lower. It's mostly responsible. What I think would help you a lot, if you want to keep the X spells, because X spells are fun. If you want to keep the X spells, you should be investing in bigger ramp sources. One of the biggest mistakes I see more casual players make is they're like, the only ramp I should play is I should spend 1 spell to get 1 more mana. And when you have a greedy deck like this one, you can still get away with it, but you need to focus more on, I need 1 card to make 2 or more mana. And so that's going to be things like Worn Power Stone. That's going to be things like the Honda Civic engine. And it's going to require you to be a pretty clever pilot, because what cards like this force you to do is you have to take an important turn off. 4 mana is also your commander's mana. So it would be, instead of casting my commander, Elish Norn, I am skipping this turn to have 7 mana on the next turn, or 8 mana if I hit a land drop. But if you want to be casting X spells, it will be necessary. There are some other felonious tricks that people of low character are going to recommend to you. That's going to be stuff like Smothering Tithe, which I do not think you should put in this deck. But it does exist. Other tricks that I do like from Dr. Spectred, because you only have 1 color you need to care about, you're going to go ahead and you're going to take all these planes and you're going to rip them out of the deck. And you're going to replace them with 31 snow-covered planes. And then at that point, you're going to cast Extra Planar Lens. And that is going to make you go down 1 snow-covered planes, and then all of your snow-covered planes are going to tap for double. Z, every mono black player in the world has this as part of their fraud package. It always works. This is like Wolf of Wall Street in a world with no SEC. It is in-fucking-credible. So Lens will help. We again have the Soul Ring recommendation from somebody of low character. You could do Nyx Lotus. I'm not convinced that it's totally necessary. You got to get Norn's Wellspring the fuck up out my face. I think the rest of these make sense. Yeah. Don't worry, Madness. We're gonna hit him. We're gonna hit him with the real shit. The real shit that you may not be emotionally ready for. You're on Karoo, which is beautiful. You need to be salting your own fields. And this is going to be another thing where you probably want to proxy this. So if I wanted to straight up ask people if they pay the one as often as possible, what strategy would work? If you want to be asking people if they pay the one as often as possible and you don't want to be casting Rhystic Study, what you have to be doing Hey Leprechaun, you're okay with people disliking you, right? I'm assuming yes. Hell yeah. We're going to teach you about a little thing called the initiative, brother. So if we want to make sure that as many people are swinging on us as possible to ask people about the one, we're going to have to introduce two very important mechanics. We need the initiative and we need the monarchy. Because these are things that will give you a lot of benefits if you hold them, and the only way to take them away from you is to hit you. The other things we can do with this is to run something like Coveted Jewel. Yeah, Spectred's on the wave too. So Coveted Jewel, White Plume Adventurer, Palace Jailer. Let's go to Scryfall. Yeah, the problem with initiative is there's not going to be a lot of cards that are very good for it. Really, the best one is White Plume Adventurer. Yeah, you can't build around it. Notably, you are not going to be building around initiative. We are going to be putting these cards in the deck such that anytime you run into them, you're going to be very, very happy. So you're going to have White Plume Adventurer. I'm going to give you Dungeoneer's Pack. Who's this fucking guy? There's a Doctor Who Grandpa we're going to give you. We could build around Monarchy too. Hold on. The tech is coming. Yeah, Saravok's Tome is also usable. Yeah, Wilfred fucking Mott. Get this man in here. So Wilfred Mott is going to help you dig through your deck faster and faster every single turn that he is alive. And so the important stuff that we can flip out White Plume Adventurer, we can flip out Dungeoneer's Pack, we can flip out... Wow, these cards are bad. We can flip out Takaj's Welcome. We can flip out Argent... Holy fuck. This guy's good. Is my child, and I will take no slander. Did you have a lot of Tylenol in your bloodstream when you were giving birth to them? Because I think a little something's wrong. So Wilfred Mott will be great. Let's look at what monarchy options you have. Ooh, this is another kind of interesting one. So when this enters, you're the monarch. If you're the monarch, damage doesn't make you lose life. And so you force people... This will either... Here's the problem we can get into. If your playgroup is cowards, they just will stop swinging at you once we do this. A responsible table, a smart table, if you start doing this, they are going to be like, okay, we all have to beat this shit out of Troy. A coward table... We'll just be like, I guess we let Troy do whatever they want until we have a board wipe, and then we try to get Troy. So you do kind of have to measure your experience based off how you expect your local meta is going to interact with it. But this will give you Monarch's card draw. If you're the Monarch at the end of your turn, you draw an extra card, and then when they swing to take it away, you won't lose life, and you can still say, do you pay the 1, 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 do you pay the 1? So that one would be good. Court of Grace is good for tokens. Throne Warden's not really good enough. Depending on how our curve ends up, Court of Ardenvale could become good. Right now, I don't think Court of Ardenvale is that good. God, we're running fucking Star Compass. Holy shit. Hey, Mald, are you filming with the village people after doing roast today? Banned. Banned, how dare you? You know that's hurtful. You know how much the village people mean to me. I put in 2 CMC ramp on Scryfall LMAO. This is one of the few times where I would have preferred to see that EDH rec heroin in your veins, Leprechaun. This is like I wanted to check my kid's room and find weed, and instead I found a bunch of like hentai action figures, and now I'm just like, oh god, why couldn't they be smoking weed, man? Why couldn't you be a cool kid? Now you just cringe. Or it's like, this isn't even, Star Compass isn't the hentai action figure of it. It's like, it's like, oh, my kid's failing school. I'm going to check their room because I know they're smoking weed. And instead of finding weed, I'm finding like all your notes from the 8 times you painstakingly tried to do the homework and you still couldn't figure out algebra. That's what's happening here. That's true. We can bring back Land's voice, but we're not doing a lot to get... We'll have a few tricks to get lands in the graveyard, but we don't have a ton of them. I'm okay with Darien. Adeline's great. We need this Anok motherfucker as well. So we have Anok Strike Leader. The other thing we have to do is we have to build up a non-Elish Norn method. We don't want Angel of Tithes. Hold on. Let's explain something to you very quickly. Well, I guess it depends. Do you care? Do you just like asking people if they pay the 1, or do you want to ask about Elish Norn's 1? Because Archangel of Tithes lets you ask about a ton of 1s. Is it about the concept of 1, or is it about the Elish Norn specifically? Right, I want them to hit themselves. That's what I was thinking. And so that's why I wasn't going in this direction. So if we want them to hit themselves, then I'm going to recommend that we stay away from cards like this and we just play stuff that makes people incentivized to hit us, and then we crash out. But the other thing we're going to need is we need a little something to buff units. Because right now, I don't know how the fuck we're winning the game. Would life gain be bad since I'm getting smacked? It would. I understand why your brain went towards life gain. If we are going to do any life gain, the way that's going to work is you're just going to give your board life link, and that'll solve your problem. But the rest of the time, we would rather ungain other people's life than worry about us gaining life. What I mean by that is if we are in the late game, we would much rather play other Elish Norn than play a life gain spell. We would much rather play Crackerhoof than play a life gain spell. We would much rather play Starlight Spectacular than play a life gain spell. There are a million things we might want to do, and almost all of them are beat other people to death. Not worry about, oh my god, I want to have, 26 life instead of 19. Oh, please. what is the new Sokka enchantment? Because there's True Conviction, which gives Life Lincoln's double strike. Which this one would be okay if we were buffing our creatures a little bit more. Would a Soul Sister be useful for small incremental life gain? They're cheap and work well with token strats. See, that's the thing. They do. Fuck them. Quite frankly. Mostly because their effect is bitch made. Secondarily, is because everything has a cost. They work well with the deck, but we don't really make any type of big payoff with all this life. The life gain is just us like trying a little bit not to die, and if we're getting in trouble about dying, we can just start holding back 1/1s to block with. Even though Soul Sister is cheap, it is still a card in our deck that we can now no longer draw because instead we're drawing a Soul Sister. And now there's some stuff that is like a really easy cut, you know, like fucking Star Compass or Solar Transformer or probably like Paladin class. Or like Route. We really don't want to be doing this. It's not really Aikido, Terrence. The only Aikido is coming from the commander. And so even though Soul Sister's effect would be fine in a vacuum, we would rather do things that made more tokens or made more mana or drew us cards. Like all of those are better than whatever Soul Sister is doing. What card draw do we have? We got 10 cards. We got 9 cards after we kill Norn's Wellspring. For card draw, I'm going to be a big recommender of Tempt with Bunnies. This will give other people a ton of tokens, which you don't care about giving away because they hit you. You get to ask if they pay the 1 like 8 million times. It's going to give you cards, and it's going to give you tokens. So kill Argent Dias right the fuck now and replace it with this. That is true. Where the fuck is Caretaker's talent? So this will not only give us a card for making our tokens, it will give us a way to make more tokens. It will give us a way to buff our tokens. Another fucking phenomenal thing you need in there right now. Please. Please, Moxfield. Please. You've killed Moxfield with your terrible deck building, Leprechaun. How do you feel? How do you feel? Restoration of Iganjo. I swear to God, Voice, if you wasted a highlight on the card I think you wasted a highlight on. God, that's so bad. That's so bad. It's playable. It's playable. We could give it a shot. It's not the worst card ever made. So this would be another perfectly fine token generator. It can ramp you. If you have 2 lands in hand, you can discard a land to step 2 and then recur it. So that counts. If you've sacrificed a card to a land to Lotus Field, you can get it back out with this. Yeah, playable derogatory. I don't think we have Enduring Innocence in the deck. This looks like a deck that was built from collection, and we're going to need you to update that to built from printer, especially if you want it to be your go-to deck. If you didn't want this to be my, like, go-to... actually, then the problem might be if we're in an LGS, they may have proxy policies that are too restrictive. So, Restoration of Iganjo, cheap as shit. Court of Ardenvale, not cheap as shit. Wilfred Mott, cheap as shit. True Conviction, not cheap as shit. Saravox Tome, not too bad. Oh, my LGS doesn't care about proxies. Perfect. Then yeah, proxy all these motherfuckers up. So most of what you need to cut. Let's go through and I'll tell you what's very, very bad. Norn's goddamn Wellspring. Paladin class. Cold Steel Heart. Marble Diamond. Prismatic Lens. Solar Transformer Star Compass. Angel of Grace. That's kind of funny. Route. I would probably cut Reverent Hoplite. Shrine of Loyal Legions as well, just compared to all these other things. And then Suki, because this only triggers once, and we're not doing Flicker either, so you can't even... Yeah. So all of those things can die. And then what you're going to want to put in is either more expensive mana rocks, or you want to put in white ketchup ramp. This is going to be stuff like Claim Jumper. These are going to be things that check, ooh, how many lands do my opponents have? Do they have more than me? If so, I get reparations. And then you get to get all your planes out of your library really fucking fast. You have the extra planar lens trick on top of that. And then after that, what you need, Monarchy Initiative and a grandpa to tell you all about the glory days of monarchs who had initiative. And then the last piece of the puzzle is having a couple cards that will be... Actually, you have some hot dog shit in Pump. This might be okay. I think the big problem right now is that all of your ramp is extremely, extremely sad, and you have really sad ramp into a relatively sad commander. This guy is actually... Thank you, Kiva Delix, for that recommendation. This guy is actually pretty goddamn hot 2-mana ramp, because anytime your opponents go to fetch lands, trigger this. Fun story, true story. I have screamed at people, not screamed. I have loudly warded people off of cracking their fetch lands until we could kill this guy. And nobody ever fucking waits. Everybody's like, oh yeah, sure, get a land, whatever. It's just one. And then they pass to the next person who plays an off-color fetch and fucks the table. That makes sense. So the win con would still be attack with the buff tokens, I'm assuming. Yeah, there is no other win con that is going to work well for this deck. The mechanics in Magic, there is no way for you to win via making people hit themselves with mono white Elish Norn. You know, there are ways you can win with what's called an Aikido deck, which is where you redirect somebody else's attack on them. You typically need to be in at least white, red, and blue to get all the cards that do that well. In mono white, you are going to have to get some hammers, you are going to have to get some goons, and you are going to have to do them Great Depression style. That's the only way. And so there are upgrades you can make, and most of the upgrades you can make are just based around, like, I don't know that I would do too many of these, like, +1/+1 benefits when bigger swings like Elish Norn exist, because the banners don't really matter until you have the tokens. So personally, my game plan would be, I want a lot of ways to get the token plan going early, and then I want to slam a fat banner on top of them, and then I kill you. Another, who is this? Oh, this guy. What a bitch this guy is. A 2-mana creature that for extra 2 mana becomes a banner. Over and over and over. He can be grabbed with Wilfred Mott. He can be brought back by Court of Ardenvale. I think you had another thing in here that brings back little cheapo guys. He also gets hit by them. I don't remember which card it was, so that card can go fuck itself. But anyway, this guy is another pump spell that will modulate to however much mana you have. If all you've done all game is cast a bunch of ramp and you dump 10 mana into him, boom, +4/+4 to everything. I don't think it should be a Cathar's Crusade deck, just because I think Cathar's Crusade, like if we want this to be the deck that I bring everywhere, Cathar's Crusade is a bitch to track. It is frankly just so annoying to play that I would not recommend it if you wanted to play this deck really, really often. Yeah, it's just a pain in the ass. And like we don't want our everyday deck to be a massive pain in the ass. Like if you were going to have an everyday outfit, you don't want your everyday outfit to have 20,000 buttons and take half an hour to put on. If it was a deck that we only wanted to play every once in a while, and it was the deck we wanted to go to when I need big flashy play that might just totally fall flat, we could do it. But in a deck where all of our big hits right now are paying a bunch of mana into an X spell to make a bunch of tokens at once, Cathar's Crusade turns this into a 30-minute turn every time. Let me look at Bond of Discipline. Fuck no, dude. 5 mana for this? Just kill a bitch. What? 5, tap you down, gain life. No, give me double strike. Give me double strike right now. Fuck your creatures. You've already tapped your creatures to swing at me to take away the monarchy. I don't care. I don't care. You will not compel me to tap your creatures down. I will compel you to tap them down in pursuit of my blood. Please. Oh, Dollmaker's Shop is an okay shout, yeah. This could be good. Cut something and pump from this. Because then you can go a token generator and eventually can become a pump. Oracle and Vec. I'm pretty sure I know what this does and it's not funny and I'm going to ban you. But hold on. This did not do what I thought it did. I'm still not going to recommend this because I think this is one of those cards that reads funnier than it actually plays. This basically just makes somebody call their shot, which is pretty fine. So yeah. Because they don't have to choose who they attack. This card is incredibly funny. See, that's brain rot right there. That's brain rot. Because it just makes you. Yeah, Danny, you can choose 0 creatures. And that's typically what prevents the card from being funny, is it puts you in a, like this card puts you in a prisoner's dilemma situation where oftentimes the safest thing to do is not attack. Yeah, they don't have to choose anything. It's just you presenting it's you trying to be the Riddler. which are the 6/7. Yeah, the funniest thing you can do with this card is tap it, yell 6/7, and then pass. I would much rather play Coveted Jewel or White Plume Adventurer, because like initiative is gonna make people angry for a good reason. This card is gonna make people angry because they just think it's lame. But let's get you on the slideshow. I don't even know what to. I'm putting you in he didn't know. The fact that we grabbed Star Compass off of Scryfall's search for mana value 2 ramp, I'm hitting you with the he didn't know. They were not aware. Keiki, you're gonna go after Kaiser. I'm going just based off the order people showed up. So Leprechaun, you were unknowledgeable. Now you are. Please make these changes. Let me know if the deck operates better. I think it is a funny idea to make a deck that is all about forcing somebody to hit themselves, but you got to jingle the keys a little bit harder. You got to be prepared for the Zoomer audience. If you can, here's non-deck but still hot tech. Whenever you play this deck, you're going to grab some Temple Runner, and you're going to put that just down in the corner. How many key jinglers should I put in? All the ones we showed you. So you should put in both of the courts. You should put in Saravox Tome, Dungeoneer's Pack, and White Plume Adventurer. All the ones other than that are gonna be just too goddamn weak. And then like Wilfred Mott, Tempt with Bunnies, and Caretaker's Talent, that little bit of extra card draw and card selection should hopefully help you get to them faster. I think Crescendo of War is fine. I don't know if it's the I don't think it's the perfect angle for this deck. I do think it's a funny card though. So we're going to go to the manual ad break, and then it is time for Kaiser Glider. I will see you all in a second. Okay. Maul, do you think the new alloy Savior of Meridian is actually doing something interesting in Simic, or is it the same degenerate bullshit? Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, discover X, where X is the greatest power among them. Oh. Hmm. I think artifact kills this. No, no, no. It's not, at least it's artifact creatures and not just creatures, because specifically I think that noise says it all. Like, they're trying to make it a niche. I would like creatures I would like creatures period more, because what this does is you go, it being limited with artifact creatures is a flavor win IMO. I agree that it's a flavor win because of the game. I do think that it makes it a more boring card. And I'm not. The question was not, is Alloy an appropriately designed card for her game? The question is this the same Simic bullshit as always? And I think it is. I think it's just Simic white labeling an artifact deck. Like, we can, we can say like, oh, but nobody's ever put crunchy peanut butter in a peanut butter and jelly, and like, yeah, they have. I think what would make it more interesting is if it could be any creatures, because the thing is, once you limit it to artifact creatures, then it's like the same two strategies are going to show up every time. The two strategies are going to be either one, me when I play Metalwork Colossus and just try to value out on you, or two, me when I play what's that fucking guy? I can't remember. It's like Overseer or something. Chug Baka, thank you for the Prime sub for the 3rd month. Welcome back to the dog home. Yeah, Steel Overseer, the one that just puts counters on all your artifact creatures. So it's either, and it's probably gonna, the deck's probably just gonna be both. But what's going to happen is you're either going to get a deck that's like, I'm going to cheat out a massive artifact creature and just try to do big discover every turn, or I'm going to do like 1/1 counters on artifact creature loops, and every time I attack, I'm going to discover another like 1 to 3 mana synergy piece. Shrub CA, thank you for the 4 months at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. Congratulations on getting your new job. I hope 2026 continues to look up for you. Your hair looks tall today, my king. Thank you. I can't get forward, but I can get up. So I don't, and I guess the problem is, if I think about Alloy, like I think about VV Stompy, where I'm using a very, very good card to do a very, very stupid thing. If it was not limited to artifact creatures, you could at least go, all right, well, because Alloy is giving me a bunch of like extra value when I attack with a big creature, I can at least use this to play bad creatures for free. And that will allow me to come up with some type of silly theme or silly mechanic that is distinct to the bad creatures that I'm leveraging. But with artifact creatures, that really doesn't exist. Anytime you try to do that with artifact creatures, it always comes back to the same like 3 artifact synergies that have existed from the dawn of time. And so that is what's uninteresting to me about the card. I think it is an appropriate design for the character, and I think that somebody will like it, and I wish them the best of luck. Do vehicles count as bad artifact creatures? I think so, but the bigger problem is it's still just artifacts. So it's like, here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell me, ha 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 ha, I'm playing a silly alloy deck because it uses vehicles, which are bad artifact creatures. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. It just becomes this. So like, oh yeah, there are creatures that care about how many artifacts total I control. What if we didn't concern ourselves with being 100% original and just had fun with the fun thing? Like the sentence I said 1 minute ago? Yeah, that would be neat and kooky. But I think some people do want to, like some people are interested in novelty. And the question was about if it was doing something interesting. And I think the answer is no. It can be not interesting and still worth playing. Like I think that like mono red Kratos, for example, this is a deeply uninteresting card. It is still very fun. People will still build decks with it, and it will still be very enjoyable for the people who build decks with it. That does not make it interesting. I don't think vehicles can be discovered out, sadly. They're not considered creatures till they're crewed. Yeah, you attack with a vehicle. And discover, like you can discover into non-creature spells. Anyway, Kaiser Glider's deck. Let's go find it. This is a spooky deck. Hey Mauled, here we go again. Since you just loved my Kongming deck, I thought I'd share the next to my Three Kingdoms decks with you. This one is a little bit different. It's less funny and more painful. As with the other deck, I'm mostly happy, but I'm open to suggestions if you have any. The main part of the deck I struggle with is the Infect cards, as they're in there as an alternative way to win the game, but I'm not sure if they detract from the overall objective. Here's the Hero of Chaos. Near the end of the Han Dynasty, chaos and unrest were everywhere. The unsuccessful Yellow Turban Rebellion had proven to everybody one thing: the Emperor was weak. So we're doing Cow Cow. All right, so he's mono black. On your turn, before you attack, you may tap Cow Cow to force your opponent to choose and discard 2 cards from his or her hand. We really don't want to get invited back. Holy shit. I just want everybody to know. I'm pretty sure the last deck in this series was what if I made tokens really slowly. That's the bar. The bar is what if I made 1/1s really goddamn slowly. And now we're going into what if I hand ripped you as soon as mono black could make 5 mana. And I see a Diabolic Tutor, so I'm going to assume... Oh no, Diabolic Tutor's fair. You're good. Never mind. This shit's 4 mana. You good. If I see a goddamn Crypt Gas, though. I'm not looking at your quotes. I'm looking... Chill. Okay, so we have Soul Ring, Dark Ritual, Cryptcast. Oh, good. Charcoal Diamond. Just to make sure we have a little bit of insult to injury. We have what if I made 5 mana turn 2, and also what if Charcoal Diamond? What if I had a Charcoal Burkett? What if Santa told me I was a bad boy and that I did not deserve to cast spells? Sure, Tempting Contract will work. You do have to be playing this deck against an idiot, so you're fine there. I like to kill people in my dreams, so when I fall asleep, be sure not to come too close. That is a hard fucking line. So we have a decent amount of one-off removal. That seems pretty okay. I would employ the wise and strong. Okay, exile all graveyards. Choose a non-land card. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, but we have to pay for it. We can hand rip. We can pay near full price for somebody else's thing for 6 mana. All right, we can reanimate from graveyards. That's decent. We have more discard happening. More that holy fuck, dude. What part of the Yellow Turban Rebellion involves sentient rat men? Which part, man? I missed that in history class. Why does black deck have green deck complex? This is not a green deck complex. This is I don't want to win magic complex, which is not entirely different from the previous one. Not entirely different from the previous deck we've seen, but you told me you were worried about the infect as an alternative win condition. It's currently looking like the only win condition. The 5 elite generals of Wei. Oh my god, not another fucking discard thing. Okay, Skittles, finally. A card that might release us from our prison. I like to see that. Alright, so we have a little bit of card draw. Okay. Off rip. I don't think it's all over the place. I think it's in one place, and that place is Stinky Stinky Poo Poo Jail. Right, and not only is this a discard deck that does nothing, most of the time you have a discard deck that fails to do anything while having an outlet in the command zone. We don't even have an outlet. We just have another way. To force people to discard. I think the only meaningful payoff we have is like Rise of the Dark Realms. And even that is probably going to be underwhelming because people are going to hold on to their good creatures the longest when you make them discard shit. So what can we cobble together to at least resemble a win con? Skittles will take 3 swings a person. Wand of Orcus on Skittles will not do anything more. Trepanation Blade on Skittles is fine. Nightmare Lash is a decent equipment for Skittles only. Aegis, thank you for the hearts. But yeah, let's just see how this plays. Well, the deck's playstyle is somewhat simple. Keep your opponents low on cards to ensure they can't disrupt you. There's no scenario where the deck's nice, but since it's targeted, you can negotiate. Okay. I commonly bring this deck out when I'm going against decks that are above my power level or someone has been playing in a particularly unfun way, declaring, well, since I can't possibly win here, I'm just going to make this as miserable as possible. Brother, we got to put you in a zoo. What? Huh? What do you mean I bring this deck out? I had to play tennis against somebody that was better at tennis than me, so I ran up to them and hit them in the shins with my racket. Nani the fuck? Or someone's been playing in a particularly unfun way. This is this is the legendary deck that's cleared by an adult conversation. Deck totally unmade by being willing to be confrontational at the LGS. All right, is this hand keepable? Fuck no. Mulligan 1. Hell yeah, Charcoal Diamond. We keep. I do a land. I make a diamond. I'm so fucking good. I cast Ambition's Cost. I don't know, man. I'd discard one of these 8 million removal spells. Alright, we've done it. Turn 4. We get Cow out. So based on the wording, I'm going to assume this is a combat trigger and not pre-combat main phase. If it's pre-combat main phase, I'm fucking done, man. I'm fucking done if this is pre-combat main phase. It is a okay. So it is a tap ability that we have to do before declaring attackers. Perfect. Oh fuck! That means we need 4 turns. 4 turns. We play it 3-3. We pass. Excellent. I play War Room. I mean, instant speed as well on your turn, right? But because it's a tap ability, we need haste. And so it means that we can't do it until turn 5. But we can kick Torok to make, so we can just pick whoever we hate the most. We pick whoever we think is the biggest meanie at the table, and we play Torok kicked. Ha ha ha. Discard 2. And then we tap Cow. We target them again. We go, ha ha ha, discard 2, you fuck ass. And then we remove their commander 2 because we fucking hate Tony. And we do not want to have a conversation with Tony about that. So we're going to bully Tony out of this commander game. So we have Urza's Cave. I presume we have the normal mono black land cheatery in here, and so we could spend 4 mana to go get Cabal Coffers. I don't think that leads to any big plays this turn. It's now turn 6. We have a 3-3 and a 2-1. But we have, oh no, this guy's bigger. He goes up when we put counters on things. So I wanna come in with my own personal experience here. 'Cause what I'm amazed by is the suggestion that this is what we should play when we are playing into decks that are above our power level. Because last night I played into a deck that was above my power level. And you know what was happening by turn 6? There was 38 power on board. Across like 12 different creatures. And so that go for the throat, not the most relevant thing ever. And it was 38 power on board from one deck. There was another deck that was my girlfriend's Choco deck that was like only like 12 power on board, maybe. But the landfall triggers made it more. They were getting a shitload of value. Like I think this deck is about 20 years too late to slow down powerful decks. Because most worlds we're not casting the commander until turn 4. In this world, it's looking like turn 5 or turn 6. My playgroup has a tendency towards combo, so getting killed quickly isn't as common. And see, that again sounds to me like, what combos are we playing that disruption starting turn 6 is like it feels like it feels like I'm in the movie Prometheus, and I'm walking through the graveyard of a bunch of people who have their skulls blown out from the inside and their rib cages are torn open. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck did this to them, and then you're in the corner with a little Chinese man being like, "They're coming, they're coming. You must run." Because if attacking their hand starting on turn 5 can slow them down, like precons can deal with that nowadays. Like it feels like we're a Captain America trapped in the ice situation, and I'm not going to genuinely recommend that we do this because I understand that the point of this series of deck The point of this series of deck is, I want to play with these guys. But like everything you've done in this deck is done better by putting Skittles in the command zone. Because if you want we have a command zone that is disruption that cannot generate advantage for us. And then like 90 cards of the 99 are disruption that cannot generate advantage for us. And then there is like one bailout card in Skittles. And then we have a few cards that will turn our disruption into actual advantage, which is Turgid, Rise of the Multiverse. There's that one guy, Geth, who can technically do it, but requires you to dump a shitload of mana into it. And so this is another one where if we wanted this guy to be our commander and we wanted to do something impactful with it, I feel like the 99 should ignore him. Almost totally. Particularly if we want to have a game plan that's meant to disrupt and threaten the combo player. Like the combo player is very rarely threatened by being forced to discard early. The combo player is threatened by having somebody else who is hitting them over and over and over with a hammer. And so if you had a deck that was, Skittles in the 99. Let me reorder these thoughts. Because you talked about Infect detracting from the overall game plan. And I feel like Infect is the only game plan we have. The rest of this deck is I make you discard until you fall over. Until you commit seppuku. And so Infect actually seems good here because it's one of the only things that we can do that presents a threat to somebody else. If somebody just rips out a Galta, we get fucked. If we try to rip out a Turgid, we can't because we're ripping out Tiny Bones Trinket Thief. Hell yeah. Check me out. Look at me go. I got Wand of Orcus turn 3. Nobody can stop me. Look at me. I'm coercing a portal. I will presume they vote to draw. Look at me. I'm tapping out to draw on 3 more cards. Hell yeah. I'm the fucking best. I discard Author of Shadows. I assume they vote. So turn 6. Do I have any mana cheating? No. Turn 6, now I can play my commander. I don't have Cabal Coffers to do tappy trick. Can play my commander. Hell yeah, Charcoal Diamond, real as fuck. And now I can hand rip somebody for 2. If we were talking about, I get dedicated hand rip turn 3 every game, then I start to have some belief in okay, we're going to hold down one individual player, but this isn't even I'm going to bully somebody. This is I'm going to recuse myself and then leave hateful comments about you on the internet. Is Mage Right Stone too silly? I do not know what Mage Right Stone does. I don't think that is too silly. I would believe, especially if we're trying to torture people, I would believe way more in a game plan of, okay, Cow might not come down until turn 4, but on turn 5, I'm going to point at you and your game's over. I could believe in that. If we did... I don't think Peter Parker's camera works because I believe Peter Parker's camera is activated only. Oh no, triggered only. So I would believe more in your setup pieces not being oh, ho, 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 ho. I would have cast, fucking Tiny Bones, Wandering Archaic, whatever. I would be trying to leverage the fact that this is a targeted ability that you could then copy to be all of my early turns, I'm going to play something like the camera, like Mage Right Stone, I'm not sure if Strionic Resonator can even do it. This one is the triggered only, so we can't do Strionic Resonator, but we can do Peter Parker's camera. But playing stuff like Magerite Stone, Peter Parker's camera, 1,000-Year Elixir. And that way, when we play Cow Cow, Cow Cow becomes like an actual negotiating threat on the table where we go like, who wants to get fucked right now? Who wants to fucking lose the game right now? And then it's still a deck that I would never recommend playing, but at least when you did play it, you were going to guarantee that somebody hated their life. Whereas right now, it feels a lot more like this is like a speed bump in cow territory. It smells kind of bad. You don't really remember what happened, but you remember the ride being a little bit uncomfortable. And I think we're committing far too hard. Yeah, this is crazy. One damage because we drew a card. Just take a Sharpie, cross this card out, and write down, I fucking hate curiosity, man. No text, zero. This is a 0 mana card that allows you to tell somebody you hate VV decks at instant speed. That's all you need here. You know, if we were doing, you know, group slug wheels, maybe something happens then. But frankly, I barely believe in Waste Not. I think I kind of have to because we have discard in the command zone, but I barely believe in it. I don't really believe in the threat. You see, you say that, but every game that has come out, it's been very impactful. Right, because you said you're playing against combo, and VV Curiosity is an example of combo. But this is another instance of, like, we have not built a deck we want to play. We have built a deck that is 8 million trauma responses assembled Jenga tower style. And so this may just be a case of where the reason you have built this deck is antithetical to the reason I build decks. And I want the decks that I'm building to feel very proactive. I want them to feel like they have a game plan I can execute and I can drive forward. And this is like, man, somebody else fucking drew cards at me once. I hated that shit. I hated when that motherfucker drew cards at me. Fuck them. So like Haunt of Hightower, great. Torak, great. Sangromancer, fucking garbage. Who cares about life gain? Megrim, great. Even Bandit's Talent is like all this stuff that is pinging for meaty amounts is totally acceptable. And this is just like, man, fucking Dave bought a Rhystic Study. I fucking hate Dave. I fucking hate Dave and his goddamn Rhystic Study. And so I think the cards I dislike the most are things like the Burglar Rat. Because each opponent discards 1, does not do very much. The reason the deck is the way it was is I figured I should build it around what the commander does. These decks were first built back when I started, so I've learned better since then. See, that's racist. See, that is racist on a text box basis. Because when you said I'm going to build around what the commander does, you went, yeah, you look like him. This guy says discard. This guy says discard. Put them in a lineup together. They're the same. So I think there's some things in here that do build around what the commander does. Like Haunt of Hightower builds around what the commander does. Burglar Rat is not categorizing, is profiling. Burglar Rat is you profiling them. Like Entomber Exarch is you profiling them. Crazy analogy, so true though. Like Fell Spectre built around the commander. You're going to discard every turn, they're going to lose life for it. Painful Quandary, profiling. Nezumi Informant, profiling. And so if we do want to have a Rude deck, because like with friends that you are close to, a Rude deck fucking rocks. And so if you want to have a Rude deck to play with your friends who are dickheads, I would recommend that we cut a fair amount of the profile cards for cards that are either repeatable discard, will make them discard more than one card, or will let us untap our commander. Like on turn 2 in this deck, and let's say that the draws that I got in the playtests are unlucky, and realistically, you will always play Cow Cow between turn 3 and 4. If you have faith in that, I will trust you. I think a 2-mana play, we are every single time happier to see Mage Right Stone than we are to see Burglar Rat. I think we're always happier to see Thousand Year Elixir than we are to see Nezumi Informant. You know, Junji, sure, because it's a big flyer that can block, it can swing, we can make everybody discard 2. But all this stuff that's just like, I'm going to get you for 1. I'm gonna get you for 1. I'm going to rob you. That is the stuff that is not very. That's the stuff. That's the stuff that's not very convincing for me. The stuff that is very convincing for me is like that turn where you went, I'm gonna kick Torak, tap my commander. Now I have a 6/7, and somebody discarded 4 cards. That's rude as fuck, dude. Like you went to take a smoke break at work, you clocked your fellow employee out, went into his locker, ate his lunch, and texted his wife that he was cheating on her. And then you went back to your fucking station at McDonald's and you were like, "Yeah, what's up, Todd? I love you too, brother." Well, is that power of toughness again? I'll ban every last one of you. So I think plays like that are what I would build around for this deck. And I do think that Skithrix is an acceptable in case of emergency card for it. But yeah, I think all the stuff that is like, I'm going to pay full price for theft. I'm going to pay full price for theft. I'm going to make you discard 1 card. Or I'm just going to be another discard engine rather than a thing that makes it good that I've made you discard. That's what I would cut, because you do have something with this, like, God, every time I try to help you, every time, God fucking damn it, we mulligan. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I personally, this Tiny Bones is one of the ones I don't believe in as much, so I'm going to exile cycle him. Fucking shit, man. Shit in my ass. Okay, but we get Haunt of Hightower. It's turn 2, whatever. We draw all these cards. Okay. So here we have Burglar Rat. I'm going to pretend this is now Mage Right Stone. This is the thing that we wanted. So it's still slow, but we're playing setup pieces that we care about. Him to Torak. Kicked, bitch. Go fuck yourself. Somebody discards 2. Commander, bitch. Alright. Obviously, we're a bit in Christmas land. It is turn 6 before we can use this ability. But now that it is turn 6, and we have the setup pieces we care about, instead of Tiny Bones, we can go tap, discard 2. Untap commander, tap. Same guy, discard 2. I hate you, Frank. Equip, 3 mana. I have an 8/7 with Death Touch. If you do not block it, I make 8 2/2s. You are now out of the game. I have a fuckload of 2/2s. Job fucking done. You know what this deck needs? You need Star Compass, brother. So I like Torak a lot. I like the things that get counters because they've discarded a lot. I I don't believe in tiny bones as much because it does, like, I know it's good, right? It's good on paper because if I get you to no cards in hand, you're going to lose 10 life. And as soon as my commander's down, tapping my commander now draws me a card. I do want us to compare what life is like with tiny bones versus like dark confidant. Because Tiny Bones isn't going to draw us any cards until we have a 5-mana guy out and can tap that 5-mana guy. Also, hello, Beard Princess, you delicious fuck. Tiny Bones isn't getting us anything until we've played our 5-mana dickhead and then tapped him one or more times. Yeah. And so all of these 2 to 4 mana cards, I would much rather see be things like Mage Right Stone that are going to make Cow blow up harder once he does come down. Or just like, I know you're mono black. I know mono black is known for cheating mana. Just put the boulder in the bag, dog. Just put the rock in the bag, sir. It'll be okay. They'll laugh at you, and then you'll make them discard their whole hand. It'll be great. So that would be my recommendation. You are going to hell. You are going to hell, but I will make a YouTube short about it. I think this deck, at least, I think it was very harsh on the Kongming deck. This deck, I think there is a play pattern contained within it that you can explore. I do believe that play pattern is I pick one person, I send their hand to Detroit, and that either makes them lose life, or it gets me a counter on my guy, or it lets me rob them specifically. But we should move away from how do I make everybody discard a little bit and one guy discard more to how do I make one person just chuck their whole fucking hand into the trash, and then have that get me a little treat. And we saw it play out once, and I think if we can see it play out more, then we can actually get to like enough cookery that your play group will officially ask you to stop bringing the deck, which I think would be a very healthy place. Nightsea, thank you for the 25 months in a row. Welcome back to the dog home. Truth is an absolute defense to slander. Not with you, brother. I definitely like this idea better. Perfect, because I'm actually coming around to this as a deck idea as well. I think this one can be like, you can play with it, you can play it, you can politic it somehow. What's that 3-mana black wizard that says players can draw cards? I don't know, Lawrence Fishburne? What you mean? 3-mana black wizard. Players can draw. Oh, can't. Don't do that. Don't do that, Donkey. Put it down. Put it down, Donkey Juice. We're going to go to the manual ad break. Then it's going to be time for Cakey Eater. We do have Dark Ritual. Oh, Marilyn. Yeah, don't do Marilyn. And last notes, Kaiser. Stuff like Tiny Bones that are archetype specific value engines, I would sideboard for now. And replace with generic stuff like Dark Confidant until you're sure that it works, like the play pattern works the way you want it to. And then I would like experiment with bringing them back in. Like once you get to the, okay, my ramp is better, I have my untappers, I have my trigger doublers or my ability doublers, and that play pattern of fuck you, Jessica, is working well, then you can change these like more generic card draw engines out for, now I'm going to have a hyper specific card draw engine that feels a little bit more thematic. Can I get this list? I'm a bad person too. God damn, dog. Yeah, I've copy pasted it. You little rat. Wait until you see the third deck in the series, Kaiser. I'm going to ban you for your own good. I swear, brother. I swear. Next, we've got Keiki Eater presenting Brea without creature tokens. Oh my god, so crushingly original that I have minor chest pains from it. Russell the Love Muscle, thank you for the prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. Junk Jet. Non-creature token build of Brea Artifact Sacrifice. Deck aims to provide sack fodder that comes with built-in sack outlets to fuel the lasers. If anybody lets you have Academy Manufacturer, Crime Novelist, and Nuka-Cola Vending Machine at the same time, go infinite. So brave. Oh, so brave of you, so bold. Oh, what will he do next? DoorDash a grilled cheese with no crust? Oh, you maniac! Oh, what a dark and twisted reality you live in, Keiki Eater. What if we hacked your computer, would we find the receipts of you looking into Stranger Things? Do you perhaps enjoy deep cuts of music like Sabrina Carpenter, who is excellent? Do not take this contrived bit as a knock against Sabrina Carpenter. I am merely speaking to the fake manic pixie dream deck energy. Oh, hey, we finally broke clues and foods. Oh,